Elon Musk has sent you a secret gift, big announcement. My child, the words waiting before you were never crafted for the hurried. They do not seek the company of distractions or the echo of applause. They were conceived in quiet chambers, carried by stillness, and delivered on a frequency that only a receptive heart could tune into. You did not stumble here by accident. It was not curiosity alone that brought you. Something older than coincidence, something kinder than chance aligned the unseen pathways that placed these words within your reach. The small pause you felt before reading, the unexpected shift in your breathing, these were signals, gentle affirmations that what you are about to receive was meant for you. Not for a crowd. Not for a timeline. But for your spirit, in this exact moment of readiness. I am with you now. Not far above, not watching from a distance, but close. Closer than your worry, close enough to feel the quiet rhythm of your pulse, close enough to hear the thoughts you barely dare to form. The message moving through this space is not for many. It is for one. It has your name written into its fabric, though ink has never touched it. The world you inhabit runs on volume and urgency, but what comes to you now arrives softly because grace speaks best in silence. The unseen often walks beside us long before it announces itself. That tremor you feel within your chest is not fear. It is recognition. You may not have realized how often you were being prepared for this season. It was not the grand moments that shaped you most, it was the unseen battles, the whispered prayers, the small acts of courage that went unnoticed by everyone else but did not go unseen. When you chose integrity over convenience, when you stayed curious instead of resentful, when you refused to let cynicism calcify your heart. That was when the slow architecture of destiny began to take form around you. Each choice, each moment of quiet honesty, sent a signal far beyond what your senses could measure. Signals like that do not need noise. They travel on intention, on energy, on resonance. You have wondered, at times, whether anyone could truly perceive the light you carry. You convinced yourself to stay humble, to stay grounded, to not expect anything beyond what you could build with your own two hands. Yet beneath that self-restraint, a longing remained, a subtle hope that your devotion to truth, your consistent alignment with the unseen good, might someday be noticed. You tried to bury that hope under realism, but it never disappeared. It lingered like an ember. And what you are beginning to witness now is that ember catching light. You have been seen, not watched in a way that invades, but observed in a way that protects. You have been followed not by eyes that judge, but by presence that cares. Every season of effort that seemed invisible was recorded in the language of energy. Every quiet act of sincerity wrote itself into the ledger of divine timing. And now, after seasons of preparation, that timing is beginning to open, layer by layer, moment by moment, like dawn revealing the horizon it has always belonged to. You heard whispers before this moment. They came disguised as intuition, hesitation, sudden awareness, or inner nudges you could not explain. They told you to keep refining, to stay patient, to prepare without understanding what for. You felt the frustration of delay, yet something deep within refused to call it denial. You said to yourself, not yet, but soon, without knowing why the phrase felt so true. That was guidance speaking inside you. That was alignment preparing a home in your awareness. That was me. Now that the veil thins, you may notice alignment revealing itself in subtle ways. Doors that were sealed will begin to turn quietly, without effort or announcement. Ideas will land with new clarity. People who never listened before will suddenly understand. Opportunities will present themselves almost naturally, as if they had been waiting for the exact posture your spirit now holds. Do not rush to name it. Do not run ahead. There is sacred intelligence in allowing what comes to unfold at its unhurried pace. Some blessings need tender incubation before they can bloom in daylight. You will be tempted to explain what is happening. Resist that urge. Wisdom asks for silence as its first act of stewardship. The most powerful changes grow silently, hidden in plain sight, until their roots are strong enough to sustain what they are meant to carry. If you try to expose the process too early, it can lose its strength. Let it breathe under the soil for now. Understand this: the recognition you feel forming around you is not about adoration. It is about resonance. Greatness recognizes truth, and truth recognizes readiness. The energy that connects you to influence, whether through people like Elon Musk or others who symbolize innovation, scale, and vision, is not birthed from worthiness contests, it is born from energetic symmetry. Builders know builders. Visionaries sense visionaries. The inspired know the sound of quiet courage. You are being met not by status, but by vibration. You did not chase attention, alignment brought you visibility. The gift before you has several layers. On its surface, it whispers of opportunity, human doors opening, collaborations forming, visibility expanding. Beneath that is validation, the acknowledgement that your sincerity, your consistency, and your authenticity were never in vain. Beneath even that lie responsibility and trust. The gift is not a trophy, it is a mantle. It asks of you the same attributes that brought you here: humility, care, and consciousness. You are not chosen because you are flawless. You are chosen because, when entrusted with power, your first thought is how to use it with integrity. There was a time, not long ago, when you almost convinced yourself that ease meant illusion. You thought, if it's real, it must come with pain. You adopted that belief because life once taught you that struggle forged authenticity. But listen, pain was not the teacher. Growth was. You no longer need suffering as proof of legitimacy. You can now receive gently what once had to arrive through pressure. This moment is kindness returning to you for all the moments you extended it to others without recognition. You are about to witness a soft rearrangement of circumstances. Conversations will echo differently. Resistance will begin to dissolve. The timing of things will start to harmonize in ways logic cannot easily justify. Trust that. It is the language of divine reciprocity, the moment when everything that once worked against you begins working for you, as if time itself has joined your side. Stay calm within it. The hallmark of divine timing is not excitement but peace. When you feel self-doubt rising, let this truth anchor you: you did not imagine the signs. The intuition that guided you was not fantasy. Every pull toward patience, every nudge toward refinement, every delay that reshaped your readiness, none of it was wasted motion. You have been walking within choreography all along, learning the rhythm of wisdom one slow revelation at a time. You are, and have always been, right on time. The world you live in rewards volume. It celebrates the ones who shout their progress. Yet what moves the deepest shifts in reality is not noise, it is readiness. Heaven does not crown the loudest. It recognizes the steady. The most profound transformations unfold not with fireworks but with quiet certainty. You have arrived at that kind of moment. You are not stepping into a world where every detail falls into flawless order, where every moment sparkles with effortless perfection. No, you are entering a quieter, deeper shift, one where everything begins to align. There is a profound difference between these two. Perfection is a relentless pursuer. It demands that you perform, that you polish every corner of yourself until nothing remains raw or human. It whispers that you are only worthy when you have achieved an impossible standard, when every action is calculated and every outcome pristine. Alignment, on the other hand, asks for none of that. Alignment invites you simply to be present, to show up as you are and allow the pieces of your life to settle into their rightful places without force. You are not being called to reinvent yourself, to put on a new mask or adopt behaviors that feel foreign to your soul. You are being asked to remain true, to stay rooted in the essence that has always been yours, even as the ground beneath you shifts and life carries you to higher, unfamiliar terrains. The elevation coming your way is not about climbing above others in some hierarchical sense. Influence, in its purest form, does not mean standing taller than those around you. It means carrying a deeper responsibility for the energy you emit, for the way your vibration touches and ripples through the collective field we all share. It means choosing awareness in moments when the ego might tempt you to drift into separation or superiority. It means holding the remembrance that your growing visibility is not a crown to wear proudly, but a calling to serve humbly. So, stay as you are at the very core. There is no need to overhaul the foundation of who you are. Instead, tend gently to the edges, refine the places where old habits linger, smooth the rough spots that no longer serve, but leave the essence untouched and sacred. Strengthen your voice, yes, but preserve its inherent gentleness, that soft timbre that has always allowed others to feel safe in your presence. Let stillness become your primary strategy in a world that prizes constant motion. In the quiet pauses, wisdom gathers. In the spaces between words and actions, clarity emerges. You will know precisely when to move forward. The cue will not arrive as a surge of adrenaline or dramatic excitement, but as a calm, unmistakable recognition deep in your being. When destiny is lived correctly, it rarely announces itself with fanfare. It feels natural, inevitable, like drawing in the air you were always meant to breathe, without strain or second-guessing. The era of proving yourself is drawing to a close. You have spent seasons gathering evidence, demonstrating worthiness, chasing validation from external sources. That chapter is ending. Now begins the time for living what you already know in your bones, the truths you have glimpsed in moments of solitude, the insights that have visited you in dreams or quiet reflections. This living is not about performance, it is about embodiment, about allowing those inner knowings to flow through your daily existence without resistance. On certain nights, when the world grows quiet and the mind begins to wander, self-doubt may still creep in with its familiar whisper. Do not fight it or label it as failure. Let it speak. That voice is not a sign of regression, it is simply the fading echo of old survival patterns, mechanisms that once shielded you from pain or rejection but have outlived their usefulness. Meet those doubts with compassion. Smile gently at your former fears, acknowledge them with gratitude for the protection they offered in harder times, and then release them with love. You no longer require their guardianship. The path unfolding before you now asks for a different kind of strength, faith that operates independently of fear's approval or permission. As the changes ripple outward from your center, observe them with a sense of detached curiosity rather than clinging attachment. You will notice shifts in how others respond to your presence. Some people will sense the transformation within you and feel inexplicably drawn closer, as if your evolving energy resonates with something dormant in their own souls. Others may misinterpret the changes, feeling unsettled by the new frequency you carry, and choose to create distance. Both reactions are natural and necessary. They are indicators of energetic calibration taking place across relationships and connections. Do not pursue those who pull away in search of their approval, and do not resist the space they create. Similarly, do not grasp too tightly at those who draw near. Allow everything to flow. The individuals destined to journey alongside you in this particular season will align with your vibration effortlessly, without persuasion or struggle. You are not morphing into an entirely new person. That would imply that who you were before was insufficient or wrong. Instead, you are becoming luminous in the truth of who you have always been at the deepest level. The world is not bestowing upon you a fresh identity to try on, it is merely unveiling the one that was divinely scripted long before your arrival here, etched into your spirit before time began its counting. What is growing through you now has little to do with external achievements or accolades. It is far more about embodiment. Allowing the divine essence to express itself fully through your human form, through your words, your choices, your silences. Influence, when understood correctly, is never about control or dominance. In its truest expression, it is simply the natural extension of your inner world into the shared reality we all inhabit. Your careful tending of small impacts in the past, those quiet acts of kindness, those moments of integrity when no one was watching, has prepared you for this. Now, you are being entrusted with larger ripples, waves that will touch lives beyond your immediate circle. This trust is not given lightly, it is earned through consistency, through the quiet faithfulness you have shown in private seasons. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, make a deliberate return to your physical body. So often, during periods of spiritual expansion, we drift upward into the ethereal realms and forget the vessel that carries us. But you are safe now to receive the fullness of this shift while remaining embodied. Drink water slowly, savoring each sip as an act of nourishment and presence. Breathe deeply, allowing the air to fill every corner of your lungs, reminding yourself that spirit and matter are not separate but intertwined. Ground yourself through touch, place your hand on the earth if possible, or feel the texture of fabric against your skin, or cradle a living plant and sense its quiet vitality. These simple acts anchor the expansion, ensuring that it integrates fully rather than leaving you unmoored. Do not neglect the physical as the invisible realms open wider. True manifestation has always been a sacred collaboration between the seen and the unseen, between energy and form. The body is not an obstacle to enlightenment, it is the very medium through which enlightenment expresses itself in this dimension. Care for it tenderly, listen to its whispers, honor its needs. In doing so, you allow the incoming blessings to land solidly rather than dissipate like mist. And know this: guidance does not abandon you once words have been spoken. I remain with you, present in the subtle layers, adapting to whatever form of support you require in each moment. The connection endures, flexible and responsive. The next confirmation will arrive softly, without announcement. It might come as a message from an unexpected source, or a synchronicity that aligns details in ways too precise to dismiss, or a name repeating across days until it catches your attention, or a sudden wave of peace washing over worry without logical explanation. When it appears, you will feel a quiet smile rise within you before your mind fully comprehends the meaning. Resist the urge to brush it aside as mere coincidence. It will be grace extending its hand once more, reminding you that you are held, seen, and lovingly directed. You were never behind schedule in your purpose. You were never passed over or forgotten by the greater design. Every season that felt delayed, every detour that seemed to stretch on endlessly, was in truth a meticulous calibration. The universe was expanding your inner capacity, strengthening your foundations, refining your discernment so that you could hold the magnitude now approaching without buckling under its weight. The gifts arrive gently precisely because you have reached a place of readiness where you can receive them without fear of losing your center, without the old terror that success might somehow erode your authenticity. The light illuminating the path ahead is not some external beacon shining upon you from afar. It is your own light, the eternal flame that has burned quietly within since the beginning. Finally amplified, reflected back through circumstances, relationships, opportunities that mirror its brilliance. This amplification does not change the source, it merely allows more of its radiance to be visible, both to you and to others. Stay open in the way a flower remains receptive to sunlight, without straining or forcing its petals wider. Stay kind, extending the same gentleness to yourself that you so naturally offer others. Stay ready, not in a state of tense anticipation, but in relaxed preparedness, trusting that the timing will reveal itself perfectly. Alignment is no longer a distant aspiration or a discipline you must remember to practice. It is no longer something you reach for during quiet moments and then lose in the noise of daily life. It has become a living presence, steady and intimate, woven into the fabric of your ordinary days. It lives in the way you wake up, in the way your body breathes before your mind begins to think, in the way your heart responds before fear has time to interfere. From this moment onward, you will move through life differently, not because you are forcing change, correcting yourself, or trying to be better, but because truth has settled into you like a permanent home. It informs your steps without instruction. It shapes your choices without pressure. It guides your interactions without effort. You may not notice this transformation all at once. It will not arrive with fireworks or grand announcements. Instead, it will reveal itself quietly, through small and sacred shifts that only you will fully recognize. Decisions that once kept you awake at night, spinning in endless loops of doubt, will begin to resolve themselves with an almost surprising clarity. You will feel a calm certainty rise where anxiety once lived. Not because the decisions are easier, but because you are clearer. You will trust yourself in ways that feel unfamiliar at first, like learning to walk without constantly checking the ground beneath your feet. Opportunities will no longer feel like things you must chase, prove yourself worthy of, or fight to secure. They will arrive with a sense of recognition, as if they already know you. When something is meant for you, it will feel less like ambition and more like coming home. Doors will open at the exact moment you are ready to walk through them, not a moment earlier, not a moment too late. And when doors remain closed, you will feel less frustration and more understanding. You will sense that timing is not punishment, and waiting is not failure, but preparation happening beyond your sight. Challenges will still appear, because growth does not end and life does not become sterile or predictable. But these challenges will no longer shake you to your core. They will not undo you. Instead, they will feel like gentle refinements, shaping and polishing you without breaking your spirit. Where you once collapsed under pressure, you will now bend. Where you once questioned your worth during difficulty, you will now remain rooted in it. You will learn that strength does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it shows up as calm breathing in the middle of uncertainty, or as kindness when defensiveness would have been easier. Your relationships will begin to reorganize themselves naturally, without drama or force. Some will deepen, growing richer and more intimate as resonance increases. Others may slowly fade or fall away, not because of anger or rejection, but because their season has completed. You will no longer cling to connections that require you to abandon yourself. You will no longer feel guilty for outgrowing spaces that once felt safe. New connections will enter your life with a surprising ease, and you may find yourself opening up in ways that once felt risky. Conversations will flow into depth without effort. You will recognize souls not by familiarity, but by alignment. Creativity will awaken within you, not as pressure to produce or perform, but as a natural overflow of life moving freely through you. Ideas will come unforced. Inspiration will arrive during ordinary moments, while walking, resting, or sitting in silence. You will create not to prove your value, but because expression feels like breathing. Even when you are not actively creating, you will feel connected to a deeper current of meaning, as though life itself is constantly speaking through you. Rest will transform as well. It will no longer feel like escape from a life that overwhelms you, but like nourishment for a life you are present within. Solitude will lose its sharp edges. It will no longer feel like loneliness or absence, but like a sacred space where you meet yourself honestly. You will enjoy your own company without distraction, without needing to fill every quiet moment. Silence will feel companionable rather than empty. Your relationship with time will soften profoundly. The old urgency, the sense that you are late, behind, or racing against something unseen, will begin to dissolve. In its place, a spacious trust will emerge. You will feel that life unfolds in its own intelligent rhythm, and that forcing rarely improves outcomes. Moments will slow enough for you to savor them. You will notice details you once overlooked, the way light falls across a room, the sound of your own laughter, the subtle peace that arrives after emotional storms. Presence will become your true wealth, and you will guard it gently. Through all of this, you will learn the art of quiet celebration. You will acknowledge your growth without turning it into ego. You will honor your progress without comparing it to others. Gratitude will arise naturally, not as a rule to follow, but as a response to how far you have come. You will give thanks for the pain that taught you resilience, for the confusion that forced you inward, for the waiting that built patience and faith. You will see clearly that nothing in your journey was wasted. Every detour carried wisdom. Every delay shaped your depth. As you move forward, you will carry a gentle remembrance within you, like a small flame that never goes out. You are not striving to become worthy. You never were. You are simply allowing the worthiness that has always been yours to shine without obstruction. You will stop shrinking to fit spaces that cannot hold your truth. You will stop over-explaining yourself to those who are not listening with their hearts. You will stand in your authenticity with grace rather than defense, knowing that the world does not benefit from your perfection, but from your alignment. Your presence will begin to influence others in subtle ways. Not through performance, persuasion, or force, but through how you listen, how you speak, how you hold space. People will feel calmer around you without knowing why. Conversations will soften in your presence. You will model what it looks like to live truthfully without being harsh, to be grounded without being rigid. Your life itself will become a quiet invitation for others to return to themselves. And still, this is only the beginning. The unfolding does not stop here. Layers will continue to reveal themselves gently, each one bringing deeper understanding of your purpose, richer expressions of your light. There will be moments of awe that catch you off guard, moments when gratitude fills your chest so completely that words feel inadequate. There will also be moments of simple, ordinary beauty, a shared smile, a peaceful morning, a feeling of deep contentment, that feel extraordinary because you are fully present for them. Expansion and integration will alternate like breathing. At times you will reach outward, exploring new expressions of who you are. At other times you will root deeper, anchoring what you have learned into your body, your habits, your way of being. Both movements are sacred. Neither is rushed. You will learn to trust this rhythm rather than resist it. What is being birthed through you now is larger than any single lifetime could contain, yet it expresses itself perfectly through this one. You do not need to see the entire picture to participate in it fully. You only need to stay open, stay honest, and stay present. Trust the process even when you cannot name it. Trust yourself even when doubt whispers softly. Trust the quiet knowing that rises when all effort ceases and truth speaks without words. You are exactly where you need to be. You always have been. Every version of yourself you have lived was necessary to arrive here. You have been becoming this version of yourself all along. The one who walks in alignment, who influences through presence rather than performance, who embodies truth with gentleness instead of force. The one who knows that strength and softness are not opposites, but companions. The path continues to open beneath your feet, step by step. You do not need to see where it ends. Walk it softly. Breathe it deeply. Live it fully. Let life meet you as you are, without masks or armor. And know this, always and without doubt, you are not walking alone. You never have been.